I'd like to call this meeting to order. Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Ellick?
Here.
Mr. Gebhardt?
Here.
Ms. Karstafen?
Here.
Mr. Hauser?
Here.
And Mrs. Seguin?
Here.
Would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the May 4th, 2022 Elyria Board of Education meeting. I'd like to introduce our group up here. To my right is Board Member and Vice President Mike Gebhardt. To his right is Board Member Lane Seguin. I'm Greg Ellick. To my left is Board Member Annie Karstafen. To her left is Board Member Len Hauser. And then we have Superintendent Ann Slosh and our award-winning treasurer, Joy Clickinger.
Can't help himself. Okay,
we do not have any board recognition or presentations, but we do have a report. And we'll start off with the Elyria Endowment Fund. Board Member Mike Gebhardt is our liaison, and he's going to give us an update on the Endowment Fund.
Well, Jim Bax sent me a copy of his report for me, and I decided that's too much. I'm not reading all that. The Elyria Endowment Fund purpose is to provide source of funding assistance for educational activities that are not publicly funded. There's a board of trustees of 17 members. Total fund value as of now is $670,000. There's a typical return of interest of about 4.5%, and it produces about $30,000 a year for teachers. This year, there's a new one. It's called the Helen Charn Shaffer Award, which was added, which gives grants for educators for travel expenses that the district doesn't pay for. I think it's up to about $500 per travel expense. This is in memory of Helen Charn Shaffer. She was the principal, I think, at Crestwood, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
She was my wife's first principal. This year there is a golf outing. It's the 13th annual golf outing, and it is on June 12th. Many district employees support the fund by giving a payroll deduction. If all, Jim said if all district employees gave $2 per pay, the fund would grow by about $25,000 a year. So it's something to think about. That's all.
Okay, great, thank you. So you said every year about $30,000 in grants?
Yes.
Okay. And is there, how do they go about doing that? Is that?
Well, they meet, teachers submit proposals.
Okay.
And they all go through and vote on them. And
I'm assuming all that information's out there for the educators then?
Absolutely. It comes through Amy Higgins' office.
Okay.
I believe every September.
Every September?
It's taken care of. Yep.
Great. All right. Outstanding. Great. Thank you, Mr. Gebhardt. Appreciate that. Okay, moving along on the agenda, the minutes for the April 27th, 2022 meeting have been posted. Hopefully everyone's had a time to look those over at their leisure. And can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Board Member Karstafen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Gebhardt. Any comments or questions? With none, Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Karstafen?
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Hauser?
Aye.
Mrs. Seguin?
Aye.
And Mr. Ellick?
Aye, motion carries. Okay. All right, treasurer action items. Madam Treasurer, at the next expulsion hearing, we will have Mr. Gebhardt and Mr. Hauser as our representatives, since that's technically under a treasurer action items.
Right, and then we also have the second one.
And what day is that on?
Well, we don't have a date selected yet.
Okay. Well, I guess when you get a date, we'll get you a representative.
Well, we typically do it before board meetings.
Okay.
But if we've already got this one for the next board meeting. So if we wait to the following board meeting, then that's getting pretty late till we get everything done. So I wasn't sure if you had representatives that would like to meet on a different day.
Okay, well, we have not, since there wasn't a date on there, we have not discussed it. Does anyone want to volunteer for an unknown date, or should we wait on that?
Well, if you could suggest a date is why it's blank. Or do
Okay.
you just want to wait until the following board meeting?
Is that at the beginning of June then?
Yeah.
I mean, school's over, right?
Yeah, that would be
mean,
fine,
I could, well, I don't know.
that date. Did you want to
I
volunteer?
mean, I'll do it, but should it be done sooner if we want action, or?
You could also do two next meeting if the reps can come earlier, if wanted.
We could do that.
What's that? I mean, how early are you talking?
Or, I mean, Annie and I could do one, and Len and Mike could do one. Really? I don't know, could we?
Can we do
I'll be
two at
glad-
the same time?
I'm willing to do whatever, if you
To
need
deal
me to
with the
do one.
meetings, I'll be glad
That's
to
what she's talking about.
participate, even on the same day before, or after this meeting. Irrelevant to me. I'd like to do whatever we need to do to accomplish the goals.
Okay,
Well, would you two want to come early, and you and I come, or is that not good for you?
We come later?
That's fine,
At
I
the
can.
4:30, the 4 o'clock one.
So what time would it be, like 3, Howard?
I would probably, let's give ourselves a little bit longer than that. Why don't we schedule the first one at 2:30 and the next one at 4?
Okay.
I can do 2, I should be able to do 2:30, I will.
I can do either. I can do 2:30 or 4. Pop it on there, Bryce.
okay.
You tell me where you
So,
want me.
we have a 2:30 and a 2:30, and we have a 4
And a 4.
and a 4.
Sold.
Okay. So, do you have all that?
Is
So, I guess I'm going to ask for a motion for the 18th at 2:30 will be board member Sequin and Hauser, and then at 4 o'clock will be Gebhardt and Karstoffen, and the other board members will be alternates. Is that acceptable? And do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Madam Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Segwin,
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt,
Aye.
Ms. Karstafen,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
and Mr. Elick.
Aye. Motion carries. All right.
So
Any
if we
other?
all can't come, then you're doing all of them? Both of them?
They'll probably be back on the agenda here again. All right. Any other items, Madam Treasurer?
Nope, that's all I have
Okay,
this
moving along. Madam Superintendent, you have personnel action items for us.
No action items tonight. I think
Oh,
that's a
okay.
first. So down to personnel action items I can do.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. To approve the retirement of the following certified staff. Maria Fontinos, 23 years. She is a business teacher at the high school, wonderful teacher. We'll miss her greatly. Also to approve the resignation of the following certified staff. I know the Spanish teacher is moving to Texas, back with family, so we wish her well, and Jaleesa is starting a new endeavor, so both of them have been great employees. Also to approve the appointment of the following certified staff, and I will introduce them after this. We have Alexia Shane and Angela Graham, our new school psychologist, and Jesse Bobbitt, a substitute teacher. Also to approve the stipend for the following staff members who helped out with the Wizard of Oz. To approve the certified job description as listed below. It's a new position that's probably only going to last a couple years due to the new dyslexia requirements from the state, so we have a lot of training that needs to happen over the next couple of years. Yes. Also to approve the appointment of the following classified staff. You'll remember Ann Mitchell, AKA Sheila Mitchell. She retired and is coming back to help us during registration. She already knows the job, so it'll be a great help to have someone who knows it. To approve the athletic supplemental contracts for the fall, and that concludes my personnel action items.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's personnel action items?
I will make the motion.
I have a motion by Board Member Gebhardt. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Board Member Karstoffen. Any comments or questions? With none, Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Gebhardt,
Aye.
Ms. Karstafen,
Aye.
Mr. Hauser,
Aye.
Mrs. Segwin,
Aye.
And Mr. Elick.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, Madam Superintendent.
Yes, couple introductions out there. Alexia, you go by Lexi? Shane. She actually lives in Elyria. She went to Midview for a year, but made the right choice and came back. So Lexi, and then also Angela Graham, who has several years of experience, and we're really excited to welcome them to Elyria. So
All right.
stand up and.
All right. Great.
We had a great pool, but they were definitely the stars, and we're really excited to
Great.
have them.
Welcome
So.
to the Pioneer family. Super. Great.
And then for my report, real quick, a week.
Is that Jesse?
Do we have another one?
Is he with them or? No.
You aren't a new teacher, are you?
I'm not, I'm a supportive boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
And he dressed up in a suit for us.
Nice.
Yay. You get kudos. Take him to dinner. All right. Thank you for checking on me, Annie.
Yeah, okay.
All right. First of all, a week or 2 weeks from Friday, we have or 1 week from Friday, May 13th, we have the Special Olympics. And we're really excited about that. If any of you would like to come out and help. I believe 9 was what Denise told us last week. Also, this Friday, the Northwood Middle School production of Annie is at the PAC. So if you can't make it, Friday, I think during the day, they're doing the rehearsal. So I will make sure you know about that in case you want to stop over.
What's the date on that?
I think that's tomorrow.
Oh, the rehearsal's tomorrow?
Yeah, 9:45, I'm supposed to be there.
Okay, thank you, Marty. Amy was out today. So the musical itself is Friday night, but the rehearsal's tomorrow at
Okay.
9:45.
Okay.
Thank you, Marty. And the last thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is the change in boundaries. Right before spring break, we did email, we sent a letter, and we also sent some type of an electronic communication with the parents. As you know, we had more students than we had expected at the Eastern Heights Middle School campus and also at Northwood Elementary. And we made some changes to the boundaries. And I just wanted to a little bit go over how that was decided that we moved that. Maps come into play, but aren't the only way we look at how we split this up, because what has happened over the years is populations of students have moved around. So where there used to be, we found out we looked at some of the areas that students didn't live anymore, and they moved to other areas. So we had to look at the map and look at areas that we could grab some of those students and move them around, also knowing that the building itself has moved. So for instance, and I'll pull out the Northwood Elementary side, from Hilliard, I believe that's south, they used to all go to Ely Elementary. Now, Hilliard, they've become walkers to the new Northwood Elementary, where they were bus riders to the old Ely. So what we did is we looked on I'm going to say the west side of Gulf. I hope I've got my directions correct. From, I believe it's Overbrook, all the way through up near Crestview, Buckingham, and Nottingham. Those are now they were bused to Northwood Elementary. They will now be bused to Ely, so that we could lessen some of the strain. We were using the music in the art room for classrooms at the new Northwood Elementary. We also looked at some of the open enrollments that over the years had signed up for Windsor and or Northwood Elementary, and told them they would have to go back to their home school. So we were able to grab some spots, and hopefully we'll get out of the fine arts rooms and back into the classrooms. And then on the Hamilton / Eastern Heights side, so if you remember, Franklin used to go to all 3 middle schools. They had part of the area that went to Westwood, part went to Northwood, and part went to Eastern Heights. They were the only elementary that did that. So what we did is we grabbed the river side of West Avenue. So I believe it's from 4th Street up towards the Polish Club, towards, is that Oberlin Avenue down there? Yes. Those students that are in grades 5 through 8 that go to Hamilton will then, instead of being bused over to Eastern Heights, will now go to Westwood. There were about 177 students that were in that area, 40 of which already were going to Westwood because they opted to stay there when we gave them choice. So now the other 130-ish will now go to Westwood and fill in those rooms there. We also took a section where Hamilton, between West Avenue and Middle Avenue, where Hamilton through the Polish Club of students. So we were trying to grab enough students to bring class sizes back down to where we like them at the middle school at Eastern Heights. Probably one of the most difficult things we do is move. Change is hard, but understand that, as I've said all along in all of these reports and throughout my newsletters, that each time we worked on the building or finished some buildings, we'd have to relook at the boundaries and really assess where these things fall. And it changes also because, you know, when I grew up in Elyria and we had, about 13,000 students that went to Elyria City Schools, it was much denser in certain areas of the student population. That is not the case now. So just to grab streets that have no students, we really had to look at many layers. And Mr. Kokai, using some software that we get from our 5 maps, was able to do that. And we knew exactly which students we grabbed. So just wanted to explain that a little in the process. I think, you know, we had to make some tough decisions. It's hard, but I think that, you know, we'll probably look again next year with all the building that's going on out on the west side.
Have the maps become public
Yes.
knowledge now?
Yes, they're
So
on the
out there?
website. Under what section, Mr.
It's
Kokai?
under the pupil services page, I believe, on the enrollment pages. There's 2 maps up there currently because, believe it or not, kids are still enrolling in our district for this year. So they need to know which school they're going to this year, but then we have next year's maps up there as well. So you got to make sure if you are going to that section of the website that you are clicking on the correct map for the correct school year.
And something we have to remember is we look at those boundaries every single year. There were many years we never had to change anything. But we also have to, like what happened this year with the moves and everything, we had too many students in one area and we had to make some tough decisions and change them. So it's something we do every year as part of our process, but.
So we should take the overpopulation of Heights and Northwood down.
Correct. But again, every year we have new move-ins, so it's kind of this ongoing thing. Yeah. And we did close open enrollment in those grade levels. The only time, you know, they would then have new people or new students would be move-ins in those specific grade levels if they move to that area.
Yeah.
Have you gotten feedback from parents?
We've had one email and 1 call.
I would assume a lot of that's going to happen right before school starts, right, generally?
Absolutely. A lot of times, you know, and that's why we did 2 mediums. We sent a letter, and we also, it was either through an email or a text. I'm not sure which Amy used. But we told those that were affected right away. Probably the only thing I would have done different is I didn't realize it was, you know, it was right before spring break and people were leaving. Probably should have done it, but we wanted to get it out as soon as possible, give them more time, and that way they could, you know, make decisions.
And we've said from the beginning, since the building project, the way the funding came in, that once the schools are all done, and this is the last one, Westwood, obviously we'd have to adjust the boundaries. So.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Great. Any other items then?
That is
Superintendent?
it. That is it. It's Teacher Appreciation Week.
Oh, okay.
So we've been doing trivia, and they got some snacks, and each building does their thing as well as the district. So just not just teacher, but staff appreciation. We just want to say that we do value all of our employees so much.
Absolutely. Great.
So.
Okay, thank you, Madam Superintendent. Okay, last on the agenda is Board of Education. Any items for the good of the cause, board members?
I was going to say something about the teacher's appreciation, too.
Yeah.
I think we have a few here, don't we? Why don't we stand up?
All
And
right, all right. You are greatly appreciated, that is for sure. Okay, any other items here, board members? With none, we, oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
sure, fire away.
As I think the board knows, we had an expulsion hearing earlier this afternoon. Would the board like to discuss that tonight in executive session or at the next hearing? Next meeting, I should say.
I'm fine with tonight. I mean,
Because we're going to have another one next meeting.
Okay.
True.
Well, then I guess I will ask for a motion to request an executive session as authorized under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22.
To consider matters held protected by federal law and to consider an individual regulated by the board.
And that's the rest of the motion. Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
Second. Madam Treasurer, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Segwin?
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt?
Oh, yes.
It was Ms. Karstafen, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Gebhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Hauser?
Aye.
And Mr. Elick?
Aye, motion carries into executive session.
Probably won't really.